Design and Review Board for Wednesday, November 1st to order. Roll call.
Sorry. Gallion.
Here.
Hoppy.
Here.
Uhl.
Here.
Zwolenski.
I'm here, but I'm recusing myself.
Representing the applicant.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. First item, we have the review and approval of the March 1st, 2023 meeting minutes, I would assume.
A lot of feedback here. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. Were there any questions, changes?
How crazy is it that our last meeting was March 1st?
I know, that doesn't seem right.
I know.
I know,
does
it felt weird. It felt weird. No, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
I double and triple checked. And
It just
yeah,
felt
that
weird.
was our
That
last
does seem
meeting.
weird.
I saw where I wasn't here. We were out of town. Yes. I wondered March 1st, where was
That worked.
All right. Hoppy.
Aye.
On the minutes.
Yeah,
Uhl.
aye.
I?
And Gallion.
Aye. Okay, for the Design Review Board, the Millersburg Eagles have submitted a certificate of appropriateness application for the installation of a covered deck and cooler at the rear of 143 West Jackson Street.
All right. You should have all got a copy of the plans showing the work they're doing at the rear of the address there.
All I got was this, the application. I didn't get the plans, maybe.
There's
It was in a
second
separate
attachment.
attachment.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Mike?
No.
You got it though.
Mhm.
You had them obviously, but huh? Yeah, there was a couple attachments on that email. So, John, do you want to describe a little bit what the?
Basically, they had problems with their cooler, and there was no way to really replace it, so we decided to go ahead and extend the roof on out beyond where the new cooler would be. The cooler is like 150 square feet or something like that. That's all that's been covered. The rest of the space between the two buildings is just an amazing deck. And the further hope is that they're going to get rid of that metal building, I guess we'll call it, back behind, but that's where there's smoke. So this will be their smoke area. But we cut a new hole into the bar area so the bartender doesn't have to leave behind the bar to go to the cooler now. The cooler's capacity is almost double what it was.
Sure.
So, and they put up a nice gate at the end of the thing too, so it's more attractive, at least at first glance. I know it's gonna look like after they're done, but it's nice. It's treated wood joist and it's got the composite decking put on there. So. And I can show you a picture of what it used to look like.
It does look much better.
Yeah, so it looks great.
Any further questions?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Uhl.
Aye.
Hoppy.
Aye.
Gallion.
Aye. Okay.
Also sent out the proposed updated guidelines and ordinances. Has anybody any comments, any thoughts on that?
I've looked through about half of it.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And it's real exciting.
Let me tell you, it is.
Yep.
If you need a nap.
No, I'm sorry.
I said, it's real exciting. If you need a nap, you
Oh,
should
yeah,
start
yeah,
reading
yeah.
it.
Nate, I had started to look through that and I saw that we were proposing a paint palette, which is fine if that's the direction it goes. Do we have any idea out of all of the buildings now that are on the main drag, or what would ever be encompassed in here, what would fit the new guidelines and what would not?
I've not done like no, I haven't done that. No, those colors were based off of research that Ruth Waldman provided of what was available as far as pigmentation and what was popular back in that era of the specific buildings. So.
Yeah, I'm not on council, so I can't tell you
I was
what we
wondering
need
the
to
same
do,
thing.
but
What that you were wondering is how are we going to enforce it with the current?
whatever's there would likely be grandfathered in, but it
Right.
just made
Yeah.
me think with what we're proposing, what would be acceptable and what wouldn't, because then maybe we could look at those buildings and say, okay, but that's an attractive looking building, why wouldn't that be acceptable? For example, I don't think the color that got put on the outside of Mark Miller's building is in that palette, yet I think Mark Miller has a very attractive
Mhm.
storefront now with his paint color and his awning colors and the way that all looks. So
That's true.
it would be my recommendation that we have some idea of how this would apply to what's already in the downtown.
Okay.
It does look beautiful. His building looks beautiful.
Would almost have to be grandfathered.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he would, but
Yeah.
I'd hate to preclude another building owner from
Doing
putting,
what he did.
putting that look in if that's what they thought their building should have. You know, if our
Yeah.
color palette doesn't allow that one, and we're all, when everybody's looking at it, or some people probably don't think it's attractive, I suppose, but if you were looking at it and thought that's a nice building, I wouldn't want to be precluded from.
Yeah. Like this specific color palette is only what is allowed. There should be some leniency.
Yet we do have to have some amount
Right,
of.
we need a direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
There's some language in there about, I wasn't a huge proponent of a color palette. From what we've always been told, you don't want a specific palette. And that seems to have changed. Now the state and different agencies, historic, whatever, they're all talking about. Maybe you do want a prescriptive color palette, but also allow for the understanding that you can't always 100% match what, you know, say this is a Sherwin-Williams color palette. If they have, if there's a different paint dealer, Dutch Boy or whoever, I don't know.
Right.
They may not be a one-to-one match. The board needs to have some understanding that, hey, you know, we get the intent. So the options for repainting in the proposal is to repaint using the same colors that exist on the building if those colors meet the approval of the design review board, or propose a well-researched color palette to the design review board for approval. So there is
So it's
some,
not prescriptive in
Yeah.
what the palette would be, there's a suggestion.
yep.
Which would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Let us make a decision.
And, you know, honestly, you're never gonna be able to, paint fades pretty quickly in the elements, so one of these colors, give it 2-3 years, it may
Be a
not
different
match the
color.
palette, but it was the palette, you know what I mean? So there's gotta be some ability to be reasonable with it.
When is that slated to go to council for approval?
We don't have a firm date set
Okay.
yet, we've just got this out, obviously. I was thinking, if we can get it to first reading, maybe 1st of December, or, there's really no rush, it can be after the first of the year too, if you think we need to take more time on it.
We don't do much during the winter time anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have not read it the way that I would want to. But it could be March before we meet again.
You know,
With the current schedule.
I can never spell palette. There it is. So I can put together kind of an inventory comparison,
I think
send that out.
Just be interesting to know what's already here that wouldn't fit it and make sure that everybody feels good about, you know, from this board that
Mm-hmm.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's all I had.
Anything else? Motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
Coffee?
Aye.
Cool.
Right.
Galleon.
Aye.